It sure feels good to be back live streaming sporting events and having shoots again.
With the return of sports here and Season 2 already in the books, we dive into what the return of fans has been like for coaches, athletes, and fans.
Hi, I'm Tom Morrow.
And I'm Lily Epez.
2 seasons are down and 1 season to go in these 3 compressed sports seasons.
That's right, Tom. It's time for me and you to take the field for the spring season.
Absolutely. I know I'm excited for sure.
Well, Tom, while me, you, and the rest of the sports crew may know what's happening here at BMB behind the scenes, some may not. Here's Matt Manno, who profiled the story.
Last month marked the 1-year anniversary of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the last time we here at BMB were able to record a live shoot.
Alongside here is Tom Morrow and Charlie Goldberg.
Going through my mind, it was trickling me because, every day I would just come up with that thought of when sports are going to resume. And first it's just sports resuming, and then when us here at BMB are going to actually get back to action to covering live sporting events like we did before the pandemic.
It's so weird not being out on the football fields or in the gym or in the auditorium shooting the stuff, just about every week we were out with the cameras at every event, and all in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, it just was gone.
Beyond belief. It's what makes March so great. But now, because of an invisible foe that has yet to be defeated, the NCAA tournament has been canceled.
This astounding and unprecedented story continues to evolve. The NBA is suspending the season.
This is crazy. This can't be true. It seems more like out of a movie than reality.
This is the last night of NBA games for the foreseeable future.
Starting the uncertain and unprecedented school year, there was going to be a lot of people that had to step up and take on big roles.
I expected it to be really stressful because I was coming in after Rocco, who pretty much made BMB sports. So I didn't think that we were gonna live up to him, but it ended up being a really fun experience, and I'm having such a good time because Tom was really welcoming and he made it easy. So it's really fun being on set with him and being in Sports Talk.
It's really cool that I was given the opportunity to do this year-wide. It's really interesting and fun writing scripts every week, and it's kind of cool learning more about the BMB sports program and getting to dive in more by looking at all these updates. And just by doing the anchor role, it gives you more confidence on camera to sportscast, for example, BMB sports events like football games, volleyball games, basketball games, etc. It's a really cool experience, and I'm very glad to be a part of it.
Then came the breaking and surprising news. BMB announced that we were going to be up and running with our first shoot in almost a year.
It was awesome. It felt like that sense of relief that, I needed and everyone in the Bellmore-Merrick broadcasting program needed. We were waiting for this day to happen. I didn't think it was going to be a year later, but, what the pandemic did to the world, it definitely I definitely see how it's a year later. And, I just started going back to where we left off. As myself, I went straight to the press pack and started, jotting things down left and right, getting the sports department and sports program together and, getting them ready to cover this game. And then, I reached out to the captain of the camera ops, Sean Petritis, and I was just telling him, this is a game we're going to cover. It's going to be a live sporting game. It's Met versus Calhoun to start the opener, and I was just telling them, this isn't like a scrimmage or anything. We're going back to where we left off, and we took off where we left off last year.
It was really cool to hear those words being said around the school. After not being able to shoot anything for the past year, it's a sense of normalcy that hey, we're coming back. That we're allowed to be at the games now. Where they're allowed to have us there, and we're more than happy to be back.
Despite the challenges, the BMB sports team has done a great job picking up where they have left off. For BMB, I'm Matt Manno.
Well, Lily, we were just profiled in the story, and just going back to the story, it's a lot that goes into BMB sports. There's a lot of stuff that people are not able to see in what we do behind the scenes.
For sure, Tom. It's all a process that we have here in the sports department.
That's right, Lily. I know for athletes that played in the winter and fall seasons, it was a bit of change seeing the fans wearing masks and socially distanced.
I can see how that impacted the games for sure. Tom, you take a deeper look on how fans in the stands are going so far.
1 from Dodson. Batista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
It's been a long time since the fans have been back in the stands, but the return is here.
It's great. I think the boys definitely appreciate having supporters there and knowing that they're playing in front of people.
We used to have a packed, stands and gym, but 2 per player. That's another thing that COVID has done. It limits the spectators in the gym. So, but it's nice. It's a start anyway.
It may be the start of something, but how are athletes impacted by the return of fans?
Well, fans impacted the game. Obviously, they are able to swing the momentum by cheering loud. When we're losing, it helps you stay up. It's just great. Like, they set that tone and the atmosphere for the stadium, and it's great to see.
For the fans, it went from packed crowds to now socially distanced and masked up in the crowd.
I think it's a very good thing that we're going back to the stands just because the whole atmosphere has changed when there are students there. It's kind of quiet when there's not.
It's exciting because I feel like it's something that makes everyone closer together to be able to cheer on your school and interact with your friends.
With all the challenges faced this year, the fans are definitely happy to be back. For BMB, I've been Tom Morrow.
Shots! That's going to do it. That's going to do it.
It sure feels different seeing fans all messed up and socially distanced. Lily, what is it like for you? You played varsity in 8th grade, ninth grade you didn't get a season, and now 10th grade you're playing varsity again, and you still got 2 more years of varsity left.
It's definitely different because it was one group of girls, and now the seniors graduated, so it was like they just left, so now we're with a whole new group of a new team, so it's definitely a new experience. But you haven't played since 9th grade, so how is the transition between 1 year of JV straight to varsity?
Well, it's tough, and it's a little different because you build a bond with people, and you make your friends and connections, and then boom, 1 year's taken away, and then now you got to build those friendships up again, and leadership and loyalty and everything.
For sure. I remember before the pandemic struck us that we had packed crowds for all events like homecoming, Mr. Mepham, and even senior nights at sporting events.
Well, switching gears, we're going to send it over to Matt Manno, where he has this month's Manno Minute double feature. Matt, take it away.
I'm here to tell you what I know to help you get the best scoring possible in your brackets. Guys, I've been getting better, okay? So the first thing that everyone says when you make your first bracket is to take the 12-5 upsets. Well, they're right. I have UC Santa Barbara over Creighton.
McLaughlin out to Sow. The rim's out.
Georgetown over Colorado. And I can also see Villanova falling to Winthrop.
7th consecutive round of 32 is ahead for the Villanova Wildcats.
And the Oregon State Beavers are headed to the round of 32.
If you want to pick based on conference, you pick the Big Ten. Now, let's talk about Cinderella. No, not that one. This is March. Yeah, that one. It's going to be the USCB Gauchos beating Creighton and Virginia en route to the Sweet 16.
Lewis for the tie. That's not there. Oh, 15 seed. The upset makers are history makers.
And now, my Final Four. Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and Houston.
That's it. This unlikely run continues for UCLA. The Bruins dance into the Elite Eight.
And one more thing. If you're a new player picking based off the mascots, pick the Bulldogs. You'll thank me later.
Scott Drew's dream comes true. Gonzaga has time to do something. Suggs for the win. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Unbelievable!
It's safe to say my brackets, all 20 of them, were terrible. I'm Matt Manno, joined by Ali Alvarez, who claims that my most recent minute wasn't the only one I got horribly wrong. Ali, the floor is yours. Now let's set the clock.
Thanks, Matt. I think that despite what you say, the Mets' World Series chances are still laughable.
Really? There's still a punchline? Oh boy, here we go.
They're at top of the NL East, but it won't last long. I see them switching places with the Nationals and the Yankees moving up to first as well, hopefully as soon as possible. The Mets have some major flaws in the team that will kill them as the season moves along.
Such as?
Let's start with the defense. Having more errors than runs a game isn't a good look.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong there. At least it feels like it. But I have faith that with Luis Guillorme at third, it's primed to change. And don't forget that Francisco Lindor is a top 2 defensive shortstop. And by the way, he's not number 2.
And the bullpen?
They've only blown 2 games so far. That's a huge improvement from last year. I'll take it. The fact that the bullpen let up only 1 run in 7 innings on Thursday is a great sign. Too bad they lost. And Edwin Diaz is pitching relatively well, too. Forget about Thursday. I consider that a win for the Mets.
And what about all the great hitters on the Mets? How's the elite Michael Conforto doing?
Oh, you had to bring up the lineup. Well, those guys aren't hitters. I've seen better swings on a playground. At least that's how it is with runners in scoring position. The lone bright spots are Nimmo, Alonso, thank God, and Smith. And Lindor's been getting back on track too. But giving DeGrom next to no run support on back-to-back 14 strikeout outings is straight up inexcusable. But there's just too much talent for this cold streak to last though. Oh, and by the way, how have the Yankees been doing?
They did win yesterday.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. How about the great hitters on the Yankees? How have Judge been doing? How about Stanton? That great lineup Yankees fans seem to think is the best in baseball, and where has it gone?
Our backup catcher has gotten a few home runs.
You know,
Yes,
okay.
he did.
The backup catcher, you know what, the Mets backup catcher is pretty good. I don't know if you heard of Tomas Nido, what a legend that guy is, don't you think? Yeah, New York baseball is in not the best spot, but I do think both of our fortunes will change for the better in the near future.
I hope so.
And with that, my time is up. You gotta believe, as Met fans say. Now back to Tom and Lily in the studio.
Thanks, Matt. It's always the Manno curse. And for the Yankees, their season started off on the wrong foot. As a Yankees fan, this is not pretty to watch at all.
Well, Lily, I know the Mets are sure fun to watch. They definitely got started off on the right foot. It's going to be a fun MLB season ahead of us.
Absolutely, Tom. A fun baseball season ahead of us. That will conclude Season 4, Episode 6 of Sports Talk. For Matt Manno, I've been Lily Yepes.
And I've been Tom Morrow. Stay safe and healthy, everybody. You're watching the Disney Channel. Think, 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 think.